So next, like after we create successfully created like no stateful multi-agent systems, let's test whether the memory and the delegation work correctly or not. So for that, we are just going to simulate like real-time AI assistant. Okay, so by by making the user query, allowing the user query for the agent, and it is going to respond for the user query, like asking the weather and no greeting to the AI chatbot, so AI assistant, so it is going to respond to us from the stateful workflow. And basically now in the first step, as a first step, we are going to check with the whether this runner root stateful is existed or not. So this is the most important crucial steps because this actually prevents the errors and gives us the warning instead of crashing. Because if it wasn't created in the steps, then nothing will run. So basically, we know already, like runner is our engine, like execution engine, right? Which means it is responsible for executing the model responses or calling the tools or handling the state, right? Managing the delegation to sub agents. So all these tasks this engine has the ability to do it. So we need to check for its existence first of all. Only if this condition satisfied, then as a second step, we want to start the conversation test here. Okay, here we are going to start the conversation test. For that, no, we define like no asynchronous function to run the stateful conversation. So why we need to implement like no asynchronous function? Because every step, every tool call, like no every model call delegation, it is going to be like asynchronous. So we wrap everything inside one asynchronous functions and await each steps like a real chatbot, like how it will do it in the real time. The first interaction it's going to be like, no, what's the weather in London? This is what the first interactions. Now watch what happens. Okay, our stateful weather tool. Okay, our stateful weather tool. It's going to be read the user stored preferences. So basically, now by default, the user stored preference is going to be like Celsius only. So by default Celsius, we have already defined in the earlier coding, right? And what is the response from the mock coding? So it's going to give the current preference for the city London because here it has requested what's the weather in London. So it is going to give the response for the weather in London actually. So here. So basically, no, this tool, okay, what happens actually behind this scene when when the actually agent is executing, runner agent is executing the scan, what actually happens means um, two things will be writing into the memory, right? What are the two things? So one is going to be the city, which means what? Last city checked stateful. Next, it is going to write like no last weather report. So last weather report would be like no 15 degrees Celsius like that. Because the second part happens because we use the output key to do the auto saves for the final output to state. See here, we defined the output key. See, last weather report. It is going to store say last weather report. And what is the root agent stateful? So when we execute this root agent stateful, it is going to call out the root agent model, which means what? Our Gemini model it is going to call out. And we are just accessing like no agent v4 stateful version. And it is going to execute based on these instructions, this prompt. So it will call the necessary tools or the subagents based on the request, the user request. So if the user is going to pass like whether it is a get weather stateful or no, farewell agent, greeting agent, okay, whatever it is going to appropriately it is going to call that particular function. So runner root stateful, so we have created already here. See, runner root stateful, we have defined it here. See, it's an engine where it is going to call like no runner root agent stateful. So runner root agent stateful, it's going to be this agent, and so this agent is going to get executed. So that is what we are testing it right now here. So next, we are going to manually change the preference in the memory. Okay. As I said already, in the production, in the real-time production, it is going to be persistent services with database and Vertex AI, right? So, and you can able to change, update the state via the agent actions and specific services for the APIs available. But now, right now, we are going to manually change the user temperature preference to Fahrenheit right now. So we are doing this in memory, not by talking to the agent. Okay, we are not talking to the agent. We are just doing it in the session state memory, actually user preference unit. So as I said already, in the production system, the user would do this through the setting action, not by touching the internal state. But for learner purpose, this approach helps us to see how actually system react to the changes, right? And next, no, after this step, what we are doing, we are going to ask whether again, but with the expectation of the Fahrenheit. Because right now we have changed the memory, right? So currently the user preference is going to be the memory. So right now again, interaction with the assistant. Yeah, assistants, tell me the weather in New York right now. So right now it is going to the runner stateful agent with the updated user preference. It is going to execute the instruction and it is going to execute the mock. So mock weather database. From the mock weather database, it is going to execute the temperature of the New York. So previously we executed the London. Right now we are executing the New York. But with the Fahrenheit, not with the Celsius. So here by default it has the Celsius, right? So right now it goes and performs this Fahrenheit calculations and it will return this Fahrenheit value for the New York city, right? That is what it will happen here. So basically, this function will also do the two things. Okay, it is going to write the Fahrenheit, like no, and also it is going to store the city, last city. So this proves that our agent is not static actually. So it is reacting to the user preference stored in the state. So and then last step is that testing the delegation with a greeting actually. So why it is delegation? Because these are the sub agents. See, previously it is calling the tool, right? So weather agent, it is calling actually the tool. But right now, it is actually a sub agents we have created. So next we are going to say hi. So what should happen here? It is not a weather, not a temperature conversation. Instead, the root agent will delegate this message to the greeting agent, right? So basically we just specify only runner root stateful, okay, user id, which user and which session id. So this goes and delegate it to the what is that, um sorry, the previous step, it is going to delegate to the, so redefined agents, which means farewell agent or greeting agent. So it is going to redefine with the greeting agent actually. See here, greeting agent. So instead of the root agent, this will delegate this greeting agent, which only knows like how to greet, say hello tool. So again, it is going to access the tool hello. So it is actually delegating to greeting agent. Again, in turn, it is going to execute like no, say hello tool. So we have already defined what is the hello tool, say hello. So this tool have been already previously we have defined it. So we have defined it here, say define tools for greeting and farewell agent. So here we have defined say hello tool. So this tool is going to get access by the redefined agents with the stateful conversation. Next, we are going to inspect the final session memory. Let me show it to you. This is what we are interacting. It's fine testing. So next is the final session memory. So we are going to print the final state because this is the evidence that our AI remembered information or not. So for that, no, we will see like no three key pieces. First is that the temperature preference now the Fahrenheit. Okay, the temperature preference now the Fahrenheit, the last weather report, and we are going to showcase like no New York forecast. And the last city tool asked. So what is the city tool asked? Last city. So it is going to access like final session dot state dot get of last weather report, last city checked stateful, this information. So this is going to prove the weather tool is writing the memory. The root agent is root agent's final output is saved using the output key. So it is also going to get proved. And also the state is updating during the conversation. So all these information we will be executing. So I think it's been disconnected. Let me connect once again. Router agent. Okay. We'll execute since from the beginning. Run on. So I'm executing once again because I've got disconnected. So guys, as I'm executed, so yesterday this code was successfully executing, okay? But today you see my resource has been exhausted. Can you able to see it? So this often quite comes during the execution of this agentic AI programs. So most of the time we will be getting the same. So when I just click onto this page, you can notice that so error code, which means what? I want to pay if I want to execute this code because too many requests, like too many times I've just executed for this one. That's what no. So this happens quite often when comes to the execution of like no agentic AI programs. So what do? I will show like no executed code. So because yesterday or day before yesterday I was successfully executed this code. So without executing, I will try to showcase the same code. Okay. I do have a result of it. I'll just show the result from that executed code. Okay.